Hi, my name is V.L.M. Devedi, and this presentation is a psychological case report on Bruce Wayne from Batman Begins from 2005. I'll be analyzing the behavior through a clinical lens and discussing whether his actions align with antisocial personality disorder. Using DSM-5 criteria and empirical research, the goal of this presentation is not to evaluate Batman as a hero or villain, but to understand his psychological functioning based on the behaviors we see in the film. Bruce Wayne from Batman Begins, or aka known as Batman, is a wealthy heir who witnesses the murder of his parents as a child. This early trauma shapes his emotional development and fuels a lifelong fixation on justice and revenge. The story takes place in Gotham City, a crime-ridden, corrupt environment where traditional institutions like the police and justice system have largely collapsed. Violence, fear, and distrust are normalized, and the community increasingly turns to vigilante figures for protection. This cultural setting helps explain Batman's behavioral choices because his aggressive methods are seen as necessary instead of pathological. The disorder associated with Batman's behaviors is called the antisocial personality disorder, aka also known as ASPD, which is defined by persistent patterns of disregarding and violating the rights of other people. In Gotham's how Batman fits ASPD is through engaging in repeated illegal behavior such as vigilantism, breaking and entering high-risk physical confrontations. And in Gotham's cultural context, a therapist might hesitate to pathologize him because his aggression and rule-breaking are socially rewarded when used against criminals. However, based strictly on behavior rather than intention, he meets diagnostic criteria. ASPD is recognized across cultures, but research shows that prevalence and interpretation vary based on cultural norms surrounding aggression, obedience, and justice. For example, Zhao found that cultural setting significantly influences both diagnosis rates and public views of antisocial traits. In Western culture, ASPD carries strong stigma. Individuals with antisocial traits are often labeled as dangerous or immoral, which discourages seeking treatment and increases social rejection. So, the first symptom Batman displays is aggression and violation of others' rights. A clear example is the scene where he assaults multiple criminals in the dockyard using extreme physical force without regard for legal consequences. The second symptom is deceit and manipulation, shown when Bruce maintains a false persona in his social life and uses deception to gather information and influence allies and enemies. A symptom that Batman does not strongly demonstrate is consistent irresponsibility. Despite his violent actions, he still runs Wayne Enterprises, manages finances, and maintains responsibilities, all while being Batman. According to the DSM-5, aggression and deceit are core diagnostic criteria for ASPD. While irresponsibility is not required in every case, Moffitt, with the empirical research, supports this by showing that aggressive and manipulative traits are more central predictors of antisocial patterns than financial irresponsibility. The most appropriate treatment plan would combine cognitive behavioral therapy with anger management and social skills interventions, which research shows can reduce antisocial behavior by challenging full thought patterns and improving emotional regulation. CBT, aka cognitive behavioral therapy, fits antisocial personality disorder because it focuses on identifying triggers for aggression and learning nonviolent coping strategies. However, there are ethical concerns. Therapy may require revealing Batman's identity, which raises issues of confidentiality and public safety. Forced treatment also conflicts with autonomy. There are cultural and societal barriers. Gotham glorifies vigilantism and rewards antisocial behavior that is used for quote-unquote justice, reducing motivation to change. Oliver, with his empirical research, demonstrates that treatment outcomes for individuals with antisocial traits depend heavily on motivation and social environment, which makes successful treatment difficult in Batman's context. The film partially portrays ASPD accurately by showing aggression, emotional detachment, and a lack of concern for the rights of others. However, in the broader perspective, it glamorizes the disorder by framing these traits as heroic and necessary. This creates an incomplete and exaggerated representation of ASPD. More broadly, portrayals of mental disorders in film shape public understanding when characters with ASPD are shown as violent vigilante or heroes. violent vigilante heroes or villains. Audiences may develop stereotypes that the disorder always comes with danger, crime, or immorality. This can increase stigma and reduce empathy towards real individuals with the real diagnosis. This slide lists all research sources used throughout the presentation in proper APA format. And thank you so much for listening to me discuss and analyze Batman's treatment with antisocial personality disorder.